Welcome guys! Now for one of the most distinctive and groundbreaking parts of 3ds Max design, which is the modifier stack. This works as a kind of layering system, much like what you might know from image editing software such as Photoshop. The difference is that instead of layering images, here we're stacking geometric transformations, deformations, adjustments, and procedural effects. And just like with layers, the order in which modifiers are applied can completely change the final outcome. Great, so let's get started. Let's try adding another modifier to this monitor stand to bend it upward. First, I'll select the object, then in the Modify panel, I'll add a new modifier. It'll appear right above the one we're currently highlighted in the stack. Cool. If I had selected the box object itself, the modifier would be added above the base layer. But in this case, I want it to sit above the taper modifier. So with taper selected, open the modifier list and choose bend. That's located here. That adds the bend modifier to the stack. Let's adjust its angle value. As we increase it, we can see the mesh deforming. But something looks off. If we orbit around in the perspective view, you'll notice the geometry is folded into itself. Clearly not right. That's because we haven't set the proper bend axis yet. Just like before with the taper, we want this bend to occur along the y-axis of the object. That y-axis is located right along here. Cool. So under the bend axis, I'll switch it to y. Perfect. Now that bending happens relative to that y-axis. So if I adjust that, I can see that bending happening right along there. Though it's curving in the wrong direction. Well, we can fix this by adjusting the direction parameter, which is located right here under the angle. Cool. Let's exaggerate that bend angle so we can see what's going on, then tweak the direction value. Notice how the bend gizmo rotates, changing the way the object deforms? Well, let's set that direction to 90 degrees and the angle to 100 degrees. We can just type that in like that. Well, that gives us a solid starting point. But what I actually want is a monitor stand that bends smoothly, then flattens out again. So the bend should only occur across a limited range. To do that, I'll turn on limited effect, just like that. Now I can adjust the upper limit, which defines how far the bend extends from the gizmo center. Perfect. I'll set that to 5 centimeters, which should make it look pretty good. Awesome. We're almost there, guys. Now I want to move the bend gizmo forward so that the curve starts closer to the front of the monitor, around there. So to do that, I'll enter sub-object mode for the bend and choose gizmo, right here. Using the move tool, I can slide it forward, and you'll see, especially from the left view, right over here, how the object reshapes as the gizmo moves. But we want to be quite exact. So let's enter a numeric value to be precise. I'll go with 10 centimeters in the Y position for the bend gizmo. Awesome. The beauty of this is since it's parametric, we can still adjust any modifier below bend in the stack. For example, I can switch back to taper and change it to mount and instantly get different deformation results, which is pretty cool. Awesome. Let's Control Z that. Perfect. Awesome. The cool thing is with this modifier stack also, you can switch on and off, see end result, and you can always just find different parts of the modeling you've done and just keep going back and adjusting. You can turn visibility on and off, and just really play around with what you're modeling up. You can see everything, all the adjustments we've made if we've toggled these things on and off and where our starting point was, and then the deformers we've applied. Awesome, that concludes today's lesson, guys. Thank you for coming.